The backstage room buzzed with nervous energy, but Melnick Virgolino sat in silence, his little hands wrapped tightly around the neck of his guitar. At only 10 years old, he was the smallest competitor in the AGT music room, yet his presence felt strangely larger than life. His dark eyes shimmered, darting between the glowing stage lights peeking through the curtain and his mother's anxious face. "Bay," she whispered, crouching down so her eyes met his. "Remember, you don't need to prove anything to anyone. Just play from your heart." Bay nodded but said nothing. He wasn't nervous in the way most kids were. The guitar had been his best friend since he could walk. He remembered falling asleep with it on his lap, remembered his father teaching him the first chord before disappearing overseas for work, remembered playing alone by the window for hours while the world outside seemed too loud, too cruel. This performance was different. It wasn't just another song, it was a chance to show the world the fire inside him. Suddenly, the stagehand called his name. Melnick Virgolino, you're up next." The boy stood, his guitar nearly as big as his body, and walked slowly toward the light. Every step echoed like a drumbeat in his chest. The audience didn't know yet, but they were about to witness something unforgettable. The first note cracked through the speakers like thunder. Bay's fingers moved with impossible speed across the fretboard, tearing into the opening riff of Hard to Handle. The crowd gasped. From the judges' table, Simon leaned forward, eyebrows raised. Sophia covered her mouth in shock. How could a 10-year-old channel the energy of a full-grown rock legend? Bay's hair shook with every strum, his body swaying as though the music itself had taken possession of him. His little sneakers tapped against the stage, keeping perfect rhythm. He wasn't playing the guitar, he was commanding it, pulling raw emotion out of each note like a sculptor chiseling life from stone. The audience, once whispering, now rose to their feet, clapping in time with the music. Bay's eyes glistened. For the first time, he didn't feel small. On that stage, with that guitar, he was infinite. The final solo came like lightning. His fingers blurred, sliding, hammering, bending notes until they screamed with joy. By the time he hit the last chord, the entire theater erupted. The roar of applause washed over him like a tidal wave. But Bay didn't smile. Instead, he clutched his guitar to his chest and bowed his head. This was more than applause. This was a voice telling him he was finally seen. When the lights dimmed, the judges sat speechless for a moment. Then Heidi broke the silence. "Bay, how are you 10 years old?" she whispered, her eyes shining. "That wasn't just talent, that was soul." Sophia added, "You play like someone who has lived 100 lifetimes. It's emotional, it's powerful. I felt every note." Simon, usually reserved, leaned closer. "Bay, listen to me. We've seen guitarists, we've seen prodigies, but what you just did. That was legendary. That wasn't just technical skill, you made that guitar sing. And you're 10. The audience roared in agreement. Bay blinked back tears. He thought of his father, watching from thousands of miles away. He thought of the nights he played to the silence of his bedroom, dreaming of this very moment. And now, here he was, hearing words that would live in his heart forever. I love music," he finally said, voice trembling. "It makes me feel like I'm not alone." That sentence, so simple, broke the room. Many in the audience wiped tears from their eyes. Simon pressed his hand against the golden buzzer but stopped himself. "Bay," he said softly, "I'll save this, because I already know this isn't the last time we'll see you. But tonight, you've already made history." Later that night, in the quiet of his hotel room, Bay sat on the bed with his guitar still in his lap. His mother handed him a phone. "It's Dad," she said gently. Bay pressed it to his ear. On the other end came a trembling voice, "Bay. I saw you. They showed it on the live stream. Son, you were unbelievable. Did I make you proud, Dad?" Bay whispered, his voice small again now that the crowd was gone. Proud, his father's voice cracked. I've never been prouder of anything in my life. You reminded me of when I was your age, when I dreamed of playing. But you're living it. You're showing the world what's inside you. Bay clutched the guitar tighter. For years, the distance had felt like a wall between them. But tonight, through music, he had broken it. For the first time, his father wasn't just a voice on the phone. He was with him, in spirit, in every note. Tears finally spilled down Bay's cheeks. I want to keep playing, Dad. Not just for me, for you, for Mom, for everyone who feels alone. And in that small hotel room, Bay made a silent promise: music would be his gift to the world, a bridge across every distance, every silence. Weeks later, clips of Bay's performance flooded social media. Headlines screamed, "10-year-old guitar prodigy stuns the world." His video reached millions of views within days. People from across the globe left comments, some musicians, some parents, some children, each one touched by his spirit. At school, kids who once ignored him now ran to ask about his guitar. Teachers who thought of him as quiet and shy now called him the boy who made America's Got Talent cry. But Bay stayed humble. He still spent hours practicing in his room, still whispered small prayers before bed, still remembered the silence that once made him feel invisible. Only now, he knew the silence was gone. The world had heard him. Months later, when Bay stepped onto a bigger stage, this time in the live rounds, the audience didn't just cheer. They chanted his name. Bay looked at the endless crowd, then down at his guitar. He took a deep breath. This is just the beginning, he whispered to himself. And as the spotlight burned brighter than ever, Melnick Virgolino lifted his guitar and prepared to play, not as a boy anymore, but as a legend in the making.